Hello, everybody. I'm Trevor McShane, also known as Neville Johnson, and you are here for another episode of Tune In with Trevor on the road. The thing I'm most proud of doing in my life is writing this book, which is called The John Wooden Pyramid of Success, about the greatest coach in the history of athletics in the world, I think. And I am here today doing further research with someone who was very close to him. His name is Michael Wooden. Where do you fit in the family?
So I am, thanks for having me, by the way. I'm the youngest son of my father, James Wooden, and my mom, Carlene. I'm number 7 in the grandkids. I'm the youngest of the 7 of them. And I have 2 older brothers, John and Greg, and an older sister, Kim.
What was it like growing up in the Wooden family?
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing. I mean, I remember, we grew up here in Irvine, moved down here, and when I was 3 years old. So this is where I grew up, and I just remember us growing up as kids, living in a neighborhood where the doors were always open. Neighborhood kids were always over here. Sports was always on television. Cooked breakfasts in the morning. Just a great childhood.
Tell me about your remembrances of your grandpa.
Well, I was told that I went to the final championship game in 1975, and I have a vague recollection of being there because I would have been 6 years old at that time, and I know that was in San Diego. So I kind of remember that. That was my first kind of memory of being at one of the games. But I certainly remember family get-togethers, my grandpa coming here with my grandmother for all of our holidays, usually for Christmas, us taking trips up the 405 freeway in our Country Squire station wagon, the whole group of us up to visit my grandparents in the valley. And I just remember family gatherings being big and awesome. And
Did you see a lot of Coach?
I did. We did. We went to basketball games all the time up at UCLA. We saw him for almost every holiday, as well as maybe every couple months we would drive up there and do family visits at his place.
What are takeaways that you have from your memories of Coach?
Well, when I was young, I just remember it being large gatherings where full of action, full of activity, mostly the adults telling jokes and telling stories, gathering, and the kids just kind of running around having fun. And then fast forward up into the later years where I had kids, and I would take my kids up to visit my grandpa in the early 2000s, years before he passed away. Those visits were I'd come away from those visits, even before having the kids, I'd come away from visits with him feeling like I had just gone to church and taken that feeling away, just feeling whole and coming away with wisdom, just sitting with him for a couple hours.
Well, when you were with him, what did he do? He watch TV, take phone calls? What was a typical day like?
We would usually, we would go up to his condo in Encino. We would usually sit in his den, which was full of memorabilia and plaques and championship plaques and all kinds of books. And his desk was just packed with things. And we would just sit and talk about the kids, talk about life. He would almost always be receiving phone calls while we were there. Many times Bill Walton would call and leave messages on his recorder, and he would just sit there and listen to the message and listen to Bill go on and on and on before he would pick it up. And he would wink at us as he was doing that.
Do you know whether or not he kept up in politics? What did he know about world affairs and things like that?
I always observed that he was as comfortable talking with little children as he was talking with heads of state. I was never with him personally when he was talking with presidents, but I'd seen videos and I'd seen letters that had been written. But I'd never heard him speak of politics. The only thing I had ever heard about Papa politically was that he would always vote for the best man.
Well,
And that's about all he would say about it.
did you ever travel with him?
I did. In fact, I had an opportunity to travel with him. I believe it was the 1998 or 99 Final Four, which was in Indianapolis. And he invited me to go with him. And I had the pleasure of flying to Colorado Springs with him, where we got to go to the McDonald's High School All-American game. And then from there, we moved on to Indianapolis. And I believe Arizona won that championship that year, or I'm not remembering exactly, but it was an incredible experience being with him and going
Because
with it.
I mean, I would imagine at an event like that, he was swarmed, mobbed with well-wishers.
Oh, he was, and I felt proud to be with him. I felt blessed. I felt lucky just to be a part of the whole experience and watch him interact and watch so much attention given to him. And yeah, it just made me feel proud.
Did you ever go to any of the basketball camps?
I did.
Tell me what that experience was like.
So those camps were up at Cal State Lutheran, and oh, it was a fantastic experience. You know, learning and he was there, but I mean, we were coached by other coaches naturally, and we had groups, and we had slept in the dorms and learned basketball, and it was some of my most memorable summers going to his camps and just knowing that I was Coach Wooden's grandson made me have a sense of pride. You know, I may not have noticed it, recognize it at the
You
time.
must get asked, "Are you related to John Wooden?" Don't you?
I do. I do.
Everybody.
Still often, and it definitely creates a sense of pride.
Were there any drawbacks to being a Wooden?
No, I mean, not that I can think of, other than the fact that I'll often get asked, "Did you coach? You know, did you play in college?" And I didn't. I played basketball up through high school and didn't get into coaching. Certainly wish maybe I had, but what shoes to fill if I had.
Did you ever go on walks with him?
Um, Used to walk with him, but no, not on his 5-mile walks. I didn't have I didn't have the privilege of doing that, or I never did that. But I remember many times we would walk with him from Pauley Pavilion after games to the parking lot.
Did you have an opportunity to see his relationship with your grandma,
Of course,
Nell? What was that like?
like loving, full of love and respect. And she was, I would say, she was definitely the boss.
Was that right?
Yes. Yeah, he respected her greatly, loved her tremendously, never spoke a negative word about her, and I witnessed, them having a beautiful relationship, you know?
Uh, his personality, can you talk about what his personality was like? I
Many people might not know this, but he had probably one of the best senses of humors I've ever been around, and some of my early memories and joys was watching him sit amongst people and tell jokes with ex-players, coaches, my dad and him. My dad got his sense of humor from my grandpa, but he was also loving and charming and smart and full of wisdom. And
Did you ever see, any mood swings in him, or is it depression or anything else, diminishment in any way?
never, I never saw any, no, never really saw any mood swings. About the only time I saw him sad, you know, even if I don't know if depressed would be the right word, is when my grandmother passed away. And that was really hard. That was really hard on him, you know.
Uh,
But the thing that I think helped him through that was the birth of his first great-grandchildren child, Corey.
what was his mental acuity like the last 20 years of his life? He
I
lived to be 99.
he lived to be 99, and I would say up until the time he passed away, he was sharp as a tack. He just diminished, physically. You know, he got slower. He got a little slower. He started to appear a little bit more tired, maybe just in the last couple years, but up until the age of 98 into 99, he was sharp. I mean,
But he had an active life, didn't he, up till the very end?
he really did.
Giving talks and
He really did.
interviews and meeting people, didn't he?
Absolutely. He even came down to Orange County to Newport Beach and was a guest speaker at my daughter's school when she was in first grade, because they were doing the Children's Pyramid of Success program at the school, and they invited him, and he came to a packed gymnasium and and captivated the audience of a couple hundred first graders and kindergartners. It was
So,
amazing to witness.
uh, can, uh, uh, what give me some things that you learned from Coach that you've taken away that you may have made a difference in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the books I like reading is the Wooden book, and in the back of that book, it has a number of maxims that you know, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, are embedded in me, and that is discipline yourself so others won't have to. You know, make friendship a fine art. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. You know, be quick to commend and slow to criticize. So those are things that maybe hit me a little bit later in life, like in my 40s, where they really started to hit me internally, and I started to kind of practice my life based on a lot of those principles. And I still think about him often today when it comes to those things.
Did he ever say a negative word about anybody?
Not that I can remember. No. I'd have to think deeply if I could ever remember him saying something negative.
I think that one of his finest attributes is kindness and respect for all people. I mean, you must have seen that, right?
Absolutely. I would agree with that.
He would talk to anybody, wouldn't he?
He certainly would. He would talk with kids. He would talk with the guys at service stations. He would talk with the janitors, and he'd be talking to coaches. He would spend as much time with, what he would call important people, with people that were just average Americans.
It seems like, he retired at the height of his career, and then he had a whole new career as a motivational speaker, didn't he?
He absolutely did.
Did what ha If it's too personal, you don't have to answer, but, what happened, when he made money? What did he do? What happened to the money? Did he give it to the family? Do you know?
He did. He was generous, and he lived the most modest life. I don't know how I've heard stories about him not making much at UCLA, and that he made more money after he retired from his speaking engagements. And he would share with me what he would be making from some of these companies that would pay him to come and speak. And I know he made more than, but he was certainly very generous with the family for holidays and birthdays. And
Well, it's such an honor to have you
yeah,
speak with me. Thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Everyone, I highly recommend this book, and it's very good, and it's been a bestseller, and you'll have a lot of fun reading it, and I wanna thank you for watching Tune In with Trevor on the Road, and obviously Michael Wooden for being here as well, and you should like, this, show, as best you can and send in a good comment.